Hey Longhorns, welcome back. We're talking about the digestive system today. And as you guys can probably already guess, digestive means that you eat, you absorb the nutrients, and then you release the waste. So the main function of the digestive system is to break down food, absorb nutrients, and release waste. With our major organs, the main one that you start with is the mouth. It's also known as the oral cavity. And it is where mastication occurs. And mastication just means that you're mechanically breaking down your food. So it is a very fancy scientific word to mean chewing. Mastication is the same thing as chewing your food. Esophagus transport. So once your food is like all chewed up and you got your saliva all in there and it's like that yucky stuff that's in your mouth right before you swallow, at that point it's called a bolus, B-O-L-U-S. And so like your undigested food is going to be referred to as bolus from this point on, okay? So in the esophagus, what it does is it transports the bolus from mouth to stomach. In the stomach, you have two different types of digestion. You have mechanical and chemical. So I'm going to include some colors. And mechanical breakdown of food is through contractions. Chemically, it breaks down your food by releasing acids and enzymes. Small intestines, at this point, the bolus mixes with pancreatic juices. And bile. Bile is what's released from the gallbladder into the small intestines. And the job of the small intestines is to absorb nutrients. So at this point, our food has been digested to the point where our cells are able to take out little atoms of the different nutrients that we need, or minerals. So like your iron, your carbs, your proteins, your fats and oils and things. That's where all that happens in the small intestine. When the bolus gets to the large intestine, at that point, it's mainly just things that we cannot absorb anymore and a whole bunch of water. So what the large intestine does is it absorbs back It absorbs water and solutes. Solutes are just to simplify it, it's a really fancy way to say salts and other things that the body needs, like minerals. When you get to high school chemistry, solutes is going to mean an entirely different thing, but for simplification at this point, just salts and other minerals that the body needs. At this point, when the large intestine absorbs all that water, it becomes feces. So your bolus becomes feces in the large intestine. The rectum, which is connected to the large intestine, is where it stores your feces. The pancreas releases enzymes in addition to neutralizing acids. So in your stomach, it releases a whole bunch of acids, okay? But at that, like after it's in the stomach, all of that, including the acids, end up in the small intestines. Well, the small intestines are rather delicate and they can't handle the acidity from the stomach. So the pancreas releases stuff in there that neutralizes it or like lowers the acidity so it's more basic. If y'all don't know what pH is and acids and bases, pop into office hours and we can explain that to you, okay? The gallbladder, which on my paper is a typo, on yours it should be correct. It's a double L and it's actually one word. So the gallbladder stores bile. And bile digests fat. So the gallbladder stores the bile. At the same time, the pancreas is releasing its juices. The gallbladder is also going to release its bile. And they'll mix together with the bolus. The bile digests fats. The pancreatic juices are enzymes and things that will lower the acidity so that it doesn't harm your small intestine. Liver maintains homeostasis. And it does that by processing nutrients So it processes nutrients, vitamins, and very, very important, it detoxifies the blood. So things that are not supposed to be in your blood system, poisons and other things, it will actually take those out and then dispose of them. And then salivary glands, they are part of your mouth system, and it contains enzymes to help so it contains enzymes to help chemically break down food. For the most part, when you're chewing your food, it's mostly mechanical. But your saliva does contain things that break the things called enzymes that break down food. And so it starts the chemical breakdown, but your saliva is not strong enough by itself to completely go from mouth to small intestine. It needs to stop in the stomach and get additional chemicals to help break it down. Okay? Okay, so now we're going to label. And we're going to start with number 1 and work our way down. Okay? So, number 1 is the mouth. Number 2 is the liver. Number 3 is the gallbladder. Number 4 is the large intestine. Number 5 is the anus. Number 6 are salivary glands. Number 7 is your esophagus. 8 is your stomach. 9 is the pancreas. And 10 is your small intestine. And then 11 is the rectum. Now I do want to highlight a couple things on here. So when we say small intestine, we mean at this point, all of this is the small intestine, okay? All that green stuff. And when it gets to here, it has entered the large intestine, okay? At that point, you got your rectum. And your anus. Okay, so the reason I highlighted that is it kind of looks like it's all connected, and it is all connected, but at these key spots is where it turns from one thing into another thing, okay? All right, so digestive system assignment, it is in Google Classroom. Go do it real quick, try it. Remember, we're not out to get you. We're not gonna make you fail because you messed up one thing on here or two things on here, okay? So just do the best that you can, and then come back and check yourself after you've submitted it. All right, so starting at the top, mouth, salivary glands, esophagus, stomach, pancreas, liver, gallbladder. After it reaches, or your bolus reaches the stomach, it enters the small intestines, mixes with the bile from the gallbladder, which releases down into here, and the juices from the pancreas, which release that way into the small intestine. It goes all throughout the small intestine into the large intestines. From there, it travels around into the rectum, and then it comes out of the anus in the form of poop or feces. Oh, y'all can't see that. There we go. All right. And then the last is the fill in the blank. So the function of the digestive system is to break down and absorb food. Break down and absorb food. Mastication is the mechanical breakdown of food. It occurs in the mouth. The stomach mechanically breaks down food by contracting, and it chemically breaks down food by releasing enzymes and acids. And then the bolus mixes with pancreatic juices in the small intestine so that nutrients can be absorbed. All right, remember, if you need any help or you have more questions, stop by our office hours. It's 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Friday. I know Mr. Verm, Miss Hunter, and I are all on our own office hours. So stop on by, say hi, ask any questions you may have. We look forward to seeing y'all. Bye.